Hi everyone, my name is Charlene. We are now on lesson 10 and we will be learning about motivation in the classroom. For this lesson, we have 5 learning objectives. First is to enumerate some of the ways in which a teacher could improve a learner's motivation inside the classroom. Second is to identify the different human environmental factors affecting motivation. Third is to discuss the affective characteristics of effective teachers and supportive parents. Fourth is to describe the type of classroom climate and physical learning environment that is conducive to learning. And fifth is to apply the different kinds of assessment strategies teachers can use to increase motivation in their students. So what exactly is motivation? Motivation is defined as the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. So in other words, motivation is the desire to act in service of a goal, which makes it an important element in setting and attaining our objectives. Now, motivation is one of the driving forces behind human behavior because it is what energizes a person to do something. And when we get motivated to do something, it is not enough that we start working at it, but we should also be attracted in doing it. Did we ever ask ourselves, why do we do the things that we do, and what drives our behavior? Psychologists have proposed different ways of thinking about motivation, including looking at whether motivation arises from outside or inside an individual. Motivation that arises from outside an individual is what we call extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is when we are motivated to perform a behavior or engage in an activity because we want to earn a reward or avoid punishment. While motivation that arises from inside an individual is called intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is when you engage in a behavior because you find it rewarding. You are performing an activity for its own sake rather than from the desire for some external reward. As we can see here in the picture, there are 2 boys playing soccer. Although both of them are playing the same sport, their reasons or motivation for playing soccer are different from each other. The boy on the left is extrinsically motivated because he is participating in a sport only to win a trophy. The boy on the right, on the other hand, is intrinsically motivated. He is playing soccer because he finds the activity enjoyable, challenging, and exciting. It doesn't matter whether or not he brings home a trophy. Researchers have found that each type of motivation has a different effect on a person's behavior and pursuit of goals. Now, there are some ways where a teacher could improve learners' motivation inside the classroom, such as first, fostering a positive learning environment to create an exciting and safe atmosphere. By showing enthusiasm and passion for teaching, guaranteeing that rules are laid out in the class in detail so students feel safe to participate and share their opinions and questions without being ridiculed. Second is building rapport with students to be able to establish a positive and personal connection with them. Third is preparing engaging lessons to make it fun and exciting by facilitating student activities that give insight into their interests, backgrounds, and future goals. Fourth is give your learners options on what they would like to learn and how they would like to learn it, because each learner is unique. You may provide a variety of projects and activities to pique their interest. And fifth is to start a reward program to motivate your students to perform better in class, because rewarding them reinforces positive behavior and students eventually internalize the desire for learning. A reward program includes giving praise or completing assignments and being active participants during class discussions and activities. Now let's talk about the human environmental factors affecting motivation. Environment is defined as the total of one's surroundings and considered as immediate social factors that surround the learner, such as the teacher, students, and parents. Let's look at the following human factors affecting motivation. First is teachers' affective characteristics or social and emotional behaviors. Second is students' feeling of belongingness. And third is supportive parents. In a study conducted, the results show that teachers' affective characteristics or social and emotional behaviors are also a key to motivating students aside from the pedagogical practice. Now first, a teacher has to be caring. A caring teacher sympathetically listens to students about their experiences inside and outside the classroom, understands their questions and concerns, knows their likes and dislikes, as well as the personal situations affecting their behavior and performance. Second is fairness and respect. A teacher should treat students as people and be able to practice gender, racial, and ethnic fairness. They should avoid humiliating students in class and provide them with opportunities to participate and succeed in an activity. Third is social interactions with students. A teacher should behave in a friendly and personal manner while maintaining professional distance with their students at the same time. They should also have a good sense of humor and be willing to share jokes with their students. They should allow students to participate in decision making and be able to show a willingness to participate in in-class activities and demonstrating a sense of fun. Fourth is enthusiasm and motivation for learning. A teacher should encourage students to be responsible for their own learning, set high standards, assign appropriate challenges, provide reinforcement and encouragement during tasks, and maintain an organized classroom environment. Fifth is attitude toward the teaching profession. A teacher should have a dual commitment to personal learning and sharing students' knowledge anchored on the belief that all students can learn. They should help students succeed by using differentiated instruction, work collaboratively with colleagues and other staff, and serve as an example of a lifelong learner to his or her students and colleagues. Six is positive expectation of students. A good teacher should strive to make all students feel competent. They should communicate positive expectations to students and have high personal teaching efficacy shown in their belief that they can cause all students to learn. Seventh is reflective practice. A teacher should constantly and consistently review and think about his or her own teaching process. He or she should also elicit feedback from others in the interest of teaching and learning. Next, we have students' feeling of belongingness. Learners who are accepted by their teachers and peers think they do belong in the class. Learners who feel they belong are most likely to look forward to attending and participating in school. The feeling of belongingness enhances a student's learning performance. However, there are some cases where bullying takes place in the classroom. This obstructs creating a learning community where everyone has to feel that they belong, because bullying makes the learning environment in school become unsafe, especially for students who are being bullied. That is why a teacher should always be aware of what is happening in the class in order to prevent these kinds of problems. He or she should emphasize to the class that bullying is not acceptable in any way. Next, we have supportive parents. Parents who are supportive of their children's learning are observed to do the following: follow up on the status of their children's performance, supervise their children in their homework or project, check their child's notebooks, review their child's corrected assessment papers, attend parent-teacher conferences, shows willingness to spend time on their children's projects and get involved in school activities, participate actively in school community projects, confer with their children's teacher, have an awareness of the activities in school, and meet the friends of their child. Now, the classroom climate is a product of the interaction among the teachers and learners rather than the classroom's physical condition. The classroom climate that is conducive to learning is considered as non-threatening, however, it is classified as business-like. The classroom climate is a classroom where specific classroom rules and procedures are clear. These classroom rules and procedures are discussed in the first days of class. Students are involved in the design of rules and procedures, techniques to acknowledge and reinforce acceptable behavior and provide negative consequences are employed. Clear limits for unacceptable behavior are established. There is a healthy balance between dominance and cooperation. The teacher is aware of the needs of different types of students. The teacher is fully aware of the happenings in class. And finally, students' responsibility for their behavior is enhanced. Now, the physical learning environment is associated with the classroom condition, which is the immediate environment of a learner. A conducive physical learning environment is one that, first, allows maximum interaction between the teacher, student, and among students. It allows student movement without unnecessary distraction. It allows the teachers to survey the whole class, is safe, clean, and orderly, is well ventilated, spacious, and adequately lighted. It makes possible rearrangement of the chairs as the need arises. Now let's talk about human assessment strategies that can increase motivation. Assessment is usually at the end of the lesson plan termed evaluation. It means that the instructional cycle is not completed without assessment. Assessment is at the service of learning. Thus, the phrase assessment for learning. Assessment is not just done at the end of the teaching learning process, but also an integral part of the teaching learning process. Teachers can make assessment motivating by, first, they are making clear your learners' objectives every time, make your students own the lesson objective, engage your students in self-assessment. Practice criterion referenced assessment rather than norm referenced assessment. Inspire your students to have mastery focus rather than performance focus. Have a growth mindset. And finally, your assessment practice must be sensitive and constructive because the assessment has an emotional impact. So that would be all for today. Thank you all for listening. Remember, we all have dreams, but in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. Hope you enjoyed listening to this video. Have a nice day.